What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers waived Blake Hinson in order to sign Christian Koloko to a two-way deal. A lot of people are not happy about this, myself included. I mean, I'm not like super bothered by it, but personally, I would have rather seen them waive Colin Castleton. I think Armel Traore has the best potential because of his size and his versatility, and he's shown the ability to do a little bit of everything. He's also incredibly young compared to all the other guys like Castleton, like Hinson, like all these other guys. So you could spend 3 years developing him. I understand he's raw right now. I understand he's very questionable, but he has the potential. You've seen the little versatility and spark that's there. If you can kind of hone that, figure out how to develop him, which the Lakers really want to be a development program, he's a guy that I think could be OG-esque. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as OG, but just the size, the ability to stretch the floor, play multiple positions, defend multiple positions. If he can be even half of what OG is, that would be amazing. Blake Hinson is a guy that we've searched for years. The closest we've gotten to was Malik Beasley, and Malik Beasley forgot how to play basketball when he was with the Lakers, right? Blake Hinson doesn't really seem to be the case, right? He's a guy that doesn't appear to be afraid of the moment. Is he inconsistent at times? Sure, but that's just shooters, right? You see guys all the time, unless you're Steph Curry. I mean, even Klay Thompson was like 0 of 11, in his final game for the Warriors. It's part of being a shooter. You have games where you're, 9 of 10, and you have games where you're 2 of 10. It's up to the coach. It's up to the organization to figure out and justify how that goes. But you see guys, Buddy Hield, these guys that have made careers out of just being lethal shooters, right? Blake Hinson is one of those guys. I would have preferred to keep him, right? I understand Christian Koloko, his upside, his potential, the idea of him alongside Anthony Davis. I'm all for it. I wanted Christian Koloko. I did. But you also don't want too many centers. I understand the Lakers need a big man, but signing Christian Koloko to a two-way doesn't solve the big man issue, right? Like, if he was signed to the actual roster and he was a guy that was looked at as like, hey, this guy's going to play 15 minutes a game, sure. But here's the problem, is that one, he hasn't played in a year and a half, which makes sense why he would sign a two-way, right? So that way you can kind of manage him, manage his minutes, manage how many games he plays, because he can only play up to like 52 games. He's a guy that, again, makes a lot of sense, but he needs some weight, right? He's a guy that is as small, if not skinnier, than Jackson Hayes, right? But again, he runs the floor well. He's shown the ability to switch out and even defend on the perimeter at times, shown a little bit of the ability to stretch the floor. He's not a guy you want shooting 5 threes a game or anything like that right now, but he is a guy that you could see 2-3 years from now potentially being your starting center alongside Anthony Davis. But the key phrase there was 2-3 years from now. This isn't a guy that helps us right now outside of just having a body that's on the court. Now, I would love for him to come in and be good. And that's always a possibility. I don't want to put a cap on him, but how many minutes is he going to play? What type of role is he going to play? Are they really going to play him over Jackson Hayes? Like, there's just a lot of questions with him that I just think, like, now you essentially have 5 centers. Right? Now, Koloko does line up with kind of the trade deadline and Christian Wood, right? And what I mean by that is he can only play like 52 games. So you can play him heavily in the first half of the season and let Christian Wood take his time getting back, take his time to really, so that way he doesn't feel like the need of like, oh man, I really got to get back, and now he misses more time or something like that, right? He's going to be reevaluated in 8 weeks. Just because he's being reevaluated in 8 weeks doesn't mean he'll be back in 8 weeks, right? That's something to keep in mind. Now, I do think he will be back sooner rather than later, but you also don't want to rush him back and now he's hurt and now he's missing half the season or the whole season or anything like that. So Koloko's going to get opportunity there. And then also you have the trade deadline, right? So that'll be, 42 games or whatever it is into the season, 45 games into the season. So boom, he lines up there. How much playing time does he get though? Right? Again, are you really playing him over Jackson Hayes? Look, Anthony Davis wants to play more power forward this year. He's expressed that. He's stressed that. But here's the problem, right? Let's say Anthony Davis plays 35 minutes a game, right? Say he plays 20 minutes at center, 15 minutes at the power forward spot. That now leaves 28 minutes at the center spot. So are you giving Hayes, 14 minutes, and then you're giving Koloko 14 minutes? Does it depend on the matchup? Like, how does that go? Right? Are you just, not ever playing Colin Castleton? Right? Because you got to think, you have essentially, 5 centers essentially on the roster? Right? Like, you have Anthony Davis, right? You have Christian Wood when he comes back. You have Jackson Hayes. You have Colin Castleton. And you have Christian Koloko, right? So how do you find minutes for these guys? Are you just kind of doing it until... But Koloko is expected to get the opportunity. Based on the reports, he's expected to get the opportunity to show what he's capable of, to show what he can do, right? So, and then even if you're playing Anthony Davis at the power forward more, that means LeBron's playing the 3 more, which means what do you do about Rui Hachimura, right? Because you could argue, well, Christian Wood could just play the 4. Okay, but if LeBron plays 15 minutes at the power forward spot, or say 20 minutes at the power forward spot, and Anthony Davis plays 15, then there's only, 13 minutes at the power forward position? And now LeBron's playing 15 minutes at the 3, so now you're looking at it as like, okay, well, Rui Hachimura, let's say, plays 15 minutes at the 3, 20 minutes at the 3. There's all your 3 minutes. Are you never playing Jared Vanderbilt? Or you're only playing him 5 minutes? Are you never playing Dalton Connect? Right? Like, so just that one shift changes everything. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out, how this all kind of works, and what real opportunities Christian Koloko actually gets, if any. Right? I mean, that's the real question, if any. The Lakers could just look at this as like, hey, this is a year to kind of get your legs under you. We're bringing you on in a 2-way. You're going to spend the season playing in the G League. You may get spot minutes in there and there. Because, I mean, if he's just playing garbage time, then it doesn't matter, right? Again, I don't believe Christian Koloko changes anything for the Lakers. Not on a 2-way, right? Maybe if a trade happens and you end up unloading Jackson Hayes or something, sure, maybe then, you're looking to bring in Christian Koloko and move him to an actual roster spot. But I'd also like to see Colin Castleton get some minutes, right? See what he's capable of doing. So it's just, again, like, you still need to go get a Valanciunas or something, right? I don't think Christian Koloko is a move for this season. I don't. I mean, the Lakers are trying to make it seem like that. Oh, we're getting some center depth because, of Christian Wood being out. But again, like, where is he fitting? Now, could, again, you split him and Jackson Hayes minutes or maybe certain matchups or whatever, right? Like, now you're looking to, potentially have Christian Koloko play 14, 15 minutes a game, sure. Right? I mean, he only played like 13 minutes with the Raptors. Okay, like, how long does it take for him to kind of get in a rhythm and the flow of things? How long does it take for him to kind of find his footing, to find his rhythm? Right? Is he, how much has he worked out? I understand he did like workouts, trainings and stuff like that, but, he also is dealing with a medical condition, right? Now, we're still waiting for him to get approval from the board and all that stuff. So there's still like hurdles. He can be signed, but he still has to be signed off. So Lakers still have to kind of evaluate him. I'm sure he's going to go through a bunch of health protocols and stuff like that. They're going to have to monitor him, right? Like this is going to be a journey. This isn't something that just impacts immediately, right? Like this isn't a guy that I think saw like, oh, now the Lakers don't need a center anymore. No, he can't even play the full season. What happens if he's really good? Right? Like, again, what happens if, and I know I briefly touched on this, but like, seriously, what happens if he's really good? Now, what, are you salary dumping a guy? Like, for what? Now, again, maybe a trade gets done. Maybe you pull off some type of trade and now you're bringing him in. I don't know, but it's just, it's I just I don't like. I like Christian Koloko. I want to make that clear. Like, this isn't to say like we shouldn't have signed Koloko. 100% we should have. I just think this would have been a lot cleaner if the Lakers had made a move, right? Like, if they went and got a Zach LaVine or something like that, right? To where it's like, okay, we need a body, we need a roster spot. Let's bring him in. Let's give him, let him be the third center and just kind of get some spot minutes and let's see what he could do. And, now you kind of balance out the roster better and you have a need for him. Maybe go get a Valanciunas still. And it's like you got Anthony Davis and Valanciunas, but you're going to run Valanciunas quite often. And then he's just your third big. He basically is in the Jackson Hayes role. It's fine. But you have Jackson Hayes right now. Right? So it's just, I don't know. To me, it just seems like, you, like this is solely a future move that you're trying to masquerade as a now move. I don't believe and buy this as a now move. I buy this as this is a future move. This is something that you're doing later on down the road type thing, right? This is something that you're looking to bring him on and maybe be your starting center 2 years from now, 3. Because, after this season, Jackson Hayes can just fall off the books, right? Jackson Hayes could just depart and that's that, right? That's honestly a real possibility. And then now you're just plugging in Christian Koloko in that role next season. But that's not this season, right? There's just so many questions still that don't really have answers. And we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Look, I am excited for Christian Koloko. I want him to be great. But I even said when the news originally came out that I look at him more as like a long-term. This is a development center. This is a guy that we're going to spend a couple years truly developing and see where he goes, see where he lies. We'll see how that plays out. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? First off, how do you feel about, Christian Koloko taking Blake Hinson's spot? Are you disappointed about that? Are you okay with that? Did you have a different, player that you wanted to see waive, Colin Castleton or, Armel Traore? What's your reasoning behind that? What do you think of Christian Koloko? Do you think that this is kind of just like a future move being masqueraded as like a now move? Do you think he actually gets opportunity? Do you think he doesn't? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.